that drives for Uber and Lyft. Joe currently uses multiple phones to efficiently drive for Uber and Lyft. But this can be a pain at times and very unsafe. That was until Joe found Maximo, the rideshare app that automates Uber and Lyft ride requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and passenger rating, to determine which rides are best suited for Joe. When a ride request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will automatically accept the ride request that matches his filters, and then turn off the app that isn't currently on a ride. Once Joe finishes the ride, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to focus more on his passengers and driving safe.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Thank you for joining us on Thursday night. I want to, I guess, welcome back a couple people, too. Last week it was just Kim and I and some fill-ins, but we got Gary over on the far end.
And not the generic white guy from last week.
Wow.
Nah, I love Jason. He does a good job.
Wow. And then we have Hannibal. Hannibal, what's up?
What's going on? That's all I got.
And we got Kim, as always. Kim Side Money Plans, Hannibal's Hungry, and Gary from an app we were talking about before the show. But and then our guest tonight,
and Dash with Ash loves it, by the way, everybody.
Our guest tonight is Dashing with Ash in Canada. Is that that's the full name, right?
Dash with Ash in Canada.
Dash with Ash,
AKA Gary's next victim. Yes.
Yeah. Gary has not let her alone backstage at all. He's been on her about the app, and I don't even think they're disagreeing. It's kind of funny to watch.
It's like honestly, it's like just being around my brother. It's all good. I got two of them. Bring it on, Gary. On that note, it gets quiet.
What's up? What's up, Tony? What's up, Thomas? What's up, Marissa? What's up, Freestyle? What's up, Rodney?
Hey, Rodney.
So, Ash, tell us a little about what you're doing up in Canada, where you are, how much you work the gigs, and what else you do. And
well, I am in Montreal, Quebec. I do gig work part-time, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart, Skip the Dishes. I dabble on when I do gig work. Like if I get a vacation day, I'll go out because I'm a mom to a 3-year-old. I'm a partner. So much to maintain between my full-time job. So full-time, I work customer relations. Basically I prevent people from canceling their services, and I do that 40 hours a week. And then I do gig work, I don't know, anywhere between 4, 12, 20 hours a week. It depends when I can go out. And and then I'm a content creator. So Dash with Ash in Canada just happens to fit when you do DoorDash and your name's Ash and you're in Canada. And c'est la vie. The rest is history.
You know what? Actually, I saw your channel, Ash. Your first channel, randomly.
Which one?
Maybe a year ago. It was Consistent Ash or something like that.
That's right.
I was actually starting YouTube, and I think I was just typing it, and I actually came across the channel. So it was interesting when I saw you months or I guess a year later doing the gig work, and you congratulations on your channel. I think
Thank you.
Reached over 1,000. I think the fact that you knew so much about YouTube and how to put stuff together, I think that probably helped you, achieve what you did on your channel. So I looked at your name. I was like, oh yeah, I think I kind of remember going across. I think he was talking about you were doing live streams about gig, content creation. So
yeah, that's right.
Kind of came to mind.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people's when I started doing live streams are popping up on here. They're like, how do you have a setup like that if you're brand new on this channel? But there's a history behind it. There's a channel from when I was 17 years old that I used to do, but I was not the face behind the videos. I would take my favorite songs and movie videos and take the characters and put them together. It's all copyright, so you can't declare it or anything else. But I took to editing. I loved it, and fast forward. But yeah, that one I love live streaming. I love teaching people about analytics, long and behold, so many people do not know how to read their YouTube analytics.
I barely do.
And say you can probably teach me a couple of things.
But I gave up that channel because realistically speaking, so I started that channel to talk about what not to do on YouTube from the channel when I was 17, because I had a video that got over 4 million views, but it's completely non-monetizable because it's all copyright. And so I started the Consistent Ash to kind of go on that point, and it never got there. And I just got burnt out. I couldn't relate to my content. I didn't feel the passion anymore to, I don't know, do what, camera and microphone videos. I'm not a tech girl, so I gave it up.
But you found this, so you good.
I love this.
So your day job, though, before we move on, talking people out of ending subscriptions.
Yeah, so I don't say the company that I work for my own privacy, but I work for a company where I prevent the customers from canceling their TV, their internet, and their home phone services. And I've been doing that for 6.5 years.
Okay.
And I work from home for
So
5
direct,
years.
so direct TV.
I think that's I don't even think that's here in Canada. I think that's in the US.
Yeah, that's US.
Yeah.
But they like to outsource their stuff to other countries for phone calls and stuff.
I will say my company does that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess let's jump in a little bit here because I want to hit on some of the Canadian differences too. But I was looking at some of the topics we'll talk about, and I think it'll fit in a little further down the road. So Gary, why don't we start with the Tesla thing?
Okay. Yeah. Kim's favorite thing to talk about here is Tesla. She don't think that we can make money using them by leasing them. We all know that Hertz a year ago took on 100,000 Teslas. They took 50,000 of those and said we're going to allow rideshare drivers to rent these out. And within that past year, they've done 15,000 rentals through Uber drivers. And they're actually going really well. The drivers are saying that they have actually made more money compared to the gas vehicles that they were driving. One says here, whenever I had a gas car, I would spend $25 to $30 a day on gas. I'm saving $160 a week, if not more, driving an electric vehicle. And you actually get paid more. I did not know this. If you have an electric vehicle, Uber is actually paying you more to drive that vehicle. Yeah, it's up to an extra $1 per trip, or up to $4,000 a year. And it's called Comfort Electric. Yeah, I did not know that either.
Yeah,
so that was something new. But the stats on this is great because out of all the drivers that are doing this, they're actually making more money leasing the vehicle than they were driving their own personal vehicle. And I know, Kim, we talked about this once before, and he was like, that can't be. But it is.
I just think
how much does it cost?
I know. I'm just thinking about. So we had this whole discussion because we were breaking down like cost and insurance, what you pay on your car versus doing it weekly. Like, I don't know. I just felt like it was like a lot more eating into your cost. But Gary pointed out that it's not. So we were having a big debate whether it was worth the renting of a Tesla to do all this gig work.
It is $334 a week to rent the Tesla, and that includes the maintenance and insurance. And then it's another. I can't find. I should have highlighted these, but it's like another $100 a week in charging. And so it comes out to
you're paying.
Wait, they charge you they charge you for the charging separately?
Yeah, I was reading that on another article, not the one you posted, but it was on another one.
Right.
$400 a month.
No, $400 a week.
No, you said $100 a week, so $400 a month.
Oh yeah, on charging.
For the charging though.
Right.
$1,500 a month to do a Tesla. I don't know. I just think that
But
you're spending more than that to drive your own personal car.
Okay, let me do the math on this. My car costs $474 a month. For my gas, if I based it on the fact that I was to do it full time, I would probably pop in $100 a week. So
Nope.
that's another 4. Depends on your gallons.
Full time, you're gonna put in about $25 a day.
It also
Full-time.
depends. It also depends on like I get less than a mile all the time for like $10.
Well, maybe in Canada if the rates are higher, but on average, the average full-time driver is putting about $25 a day in gas.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm short $25. You can up it. I'll go $500 a month. 500 plus my car payment. I'm at $1,000, and my insurance is only like $100 a month.
Now, add in your maintenance.
I don't do maintenance. I do maintenance every couple of months.
I don't.
But you do maintenance.
What do I do? I have tires change and oil change every 6 months.
Transmission changes, transmission flushes, radiator flushes, all the things that you should be doing.
Anyways, who's next?
I'm thinking about it. If I'm not using my own personal vehicle and I'm already putting into the idea that I'm doing this full time, I'm assuming no one's renting these vehicles doing part-time work.
No, these are
That
full-time
would make sense.
drivers.
So it does tie you into doing gig work as a full-time. You still, I guess, in control, but you're like, you got to make sure I got to hustle to make sure I can get that 400 a week out of the way so I can start making some money. But But
think about it like this though.
Yeah.
If you're a full-time driver, you're making $200 a day. First 2 days a week pays for the car.
I would say you're gonna break.
You gotta have to hustle a little bit just to get to that. I guess at least for me psychologically, all right, I want to get that 400 out of my face. So let me hustle for at least those 2 days or whatever that is. But in terms of not wearing down my own vehicle, I think that is a very attractive feature of this program, where I can leave my car at home and use this Tesla here. And yeah, I'm gonna have to hustle for 2 days or even a day in some markets. It doesn't sound all that bad.
I guess when I think about it, so I think about it in terms of like gig work and kind of the goals I set for myself as a full-timer every day. So it's going to take you 2 days on a minimum to put that $400 aside. And then your third day is going to be put towards taxes. So technically you're only taking home then per week 2 or 3 days that you work out of the week.
But the Tesla's 100% write-off too.
I have Thomas on my side. That's all I need.
Ooh, that's pretty nice.
So
pretty nice.
we have
Rideshare. I think it's a good idea. I don't know if the food, but
we have the driven dad. We have driven dad in here right now, and Tony actually has been doing this. He's been renting a Tesla, not from Hertz, but from a private
individual.
From a private party that is looking to maybe grow its fleet a little bit. However, it's not Hertz, and I know he's been doing it since the beginning of the pandemic. He just said above he pays over $500 a week, but I always used to question that. Now with not the pandemic, but now with the gas thing going on,
I could see rideshare. I think it would be beneficial because not only that, but then like you have a Tesla to do rideshare in. So I feel like rideshare would be more beneficial than us putting like smelly food in the back of a Tesla.
Well, that's what we're talking about is rideshare here.
Yeah.
I don't do rideshare, so.
Yeah.
Oh well,
And
Tony does.
have a
Well, he
mom-
does both. He does.
I have a car seat in the back of my car with a kid that's like a giant. I'm not putting him in a Tesla. I mean, Pedro's right. You'll be balling in a Tesla, but I'm more balling in my Nissan Rogue. I'm okay. It's red. It's pretty.
I wonder if people tips
but
the rideshare driving a Tesla. I wonder if people tip more.
I was about to get to that. I was reading another article. What did I do with all these articles?
I don't know. They take pity on me when they see that I have a mom car, and then I think I get more tips.
You more tips.
I got a $19 tip just tonight. I was like, okay, thank you for 5 kilometers, which is like 3 miles. Thank
Where's
you.
that? Okay.
Yeah, it was another article was saying that driver satisfaction is very high, and that they are getting more tips because they are because Uber doesn't qualify just for Uber X.
I got customer service on my side. That's all I need.
Okay, Robert.
So
Reese.
I don't know. Like I remember that
Pedro.
I remember that I had to.
Yeah,
I
she's
remember
great.
that
Right,
I had to use Hertz for a while. When I was doing rideshare, like in 2016, maybe it was like for like 7 months too. When my RAV4 totaled, and I remember that Hertz was doing all of the Lyft and Uber rentals through what was it, like Pep Boys. You had to go to Pep Boys, and at the time, Hertz was in bankruptcy, and I know things didn't get any better. I don't even know how Hertz is still doing this. I guess this is maybe part of what's saving them, but the partnership between Uber and Hertz had already been around for years, and that wasn't helping. They were sinking quick.
You know what Ford stands for, right?
Found on road dead.
Almost. Former old rusty Dodge.
I'm from Michigan, so I get all those Motor City jokes too. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a great idea as long as they can keep them stocked. I mean, the other article too, I think we talked about this not too long ago, that there's a company in New York doing this, like the one that Tony uses. They can't keep enough Teslas on hand to.
Is it Revel? I think it is. Is it Revel?
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
whatever they had, they could double their inventory right now. They have that many ride requests that people. I guess that when we were talking about, people had to find that they had to. Like it was best to request it like the day before, because if you didn't request it the day before, good luck like actually getting it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as much ride hail, maybe.
I think the thing is too is you got to look at your personal usage, like what you personally need the car for. Okay, you're doing it for rideshare, gig work, whatever it may be, but you got to put the personal aspect together. Like I mentioned, car seat, I need it, etc. So if I'm gonna be like forfeiting it out $1,600 a month, charging inclusive, whatever it may be, and tweaking things that I obviously do not tweak currently on my car, as we established, no transmission gets fixed on my car, then I need to just make sure I have like space. Like take Instacart. Are you going to take a big, what Instacart order and you can fill in the blank there? If you're going to have a small Tesla, no, you're probably going to have to upgrade it to like the subcompact version. And how much more is it going to cost you for that?
I've never seen a Tesla used for food delivery.
I'm not around.
I've never seen anyone
Tony
use
does
it.
it.
Yeah, for food delivery.
Yeah,
Tony.
Tony mixes all of it up. That's what kind of weirds me out. It's like I wouldn't want to be. I don't personally prefer food. Well, because I have just better options, I think, here anyway. But I don't prefer food because partially because I don't like my car having all those different smells. So I would hate it if I did a ride share where like the last 3 things that Tony did before me were food orders. And I'm like, oh yeah. Tesla. And then it pulls up. I'm like, oh, Indian food.
Oh, yeah.
The Driven Dad says that there is no small Tesla.
No, they're all pretty big, roomy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
height.
Okay.
I need height.
I don't know. Tony, how tall are you? While we wait to get back to brakes are apparently optional in Canada. We don't need those either.
We don't need them.
He's about 5'10".
Gary, we have so much cones and pylons here. You just hit a few of them on your way to the customer's house. It'll slow you down.
Yeah, right. So I mean, overall, if I think that if you're doing it full time, like definitely full time, why not do a Tesla? I mean, one, you got less fatigue because the car can drive itself. I'm just saying, like,
are we that lazy? We're delivering food to people that don't want to get their own food, and then we don't want to drive our own cars.
Yes, we are.
You're gonna, Gary. You get Steve angry when you say that. You're not using it.
He hates automation. I get it, but I'm an automation guy. I don't know what to tell you guys. Like no, I mean seriously though, like the driver fatigue. I didn't really think much of it doing rideshare forever, and then doing food and Amazon. And then like my current car I have now, it has driver assist, so it can drive itself as well. It's wonderful.
I agree with some features. I actually was the one that was saying like I love the driver assist for not going off the cliff and up in the mountains here.
Yeah,
it does have like I'm okay with some autonomous technology. I'm not okay with them pretending these cars can take care of themselves.
Yeah, I don't know
That
show
I'm
that's
not.
on
There's a big
Netflix.
difference, and I'm not okay with trash cans and coolers rolling around the city with food in it. You know. So,
There's a show on
I'm all
Netflix.
for slight technology, and let's get there at some point. I'm just saying, if we're still working on how to let you know that you're veering off to the right and you've hit some of the and it goes, oh, well, let's pull them back to the left a little bit. If we're still there, we're definitely not at a point where the car can drive itself, clean itself in between rides when people puke, get the
Lovely.
needles and drugs out from all the people doing it in the back, stop it from hitting the people
Where
in the
do you
intersection.
drive?
You
man?
got all scenarios right there.
Well, we
Like,
know where all
he's
these
driving in
cars are in
GTA
San Francisco,
world.
and everything I just named happens in San Francisco, except for I forgot to add prostitution, which would also go on in there.
This is Gary's fault for egging Steve on this
It
story.
is.
This is your fault.
It's so fun.
There's a show on Netflix where they're showing the self-driving car, and that's why it drove the woman off the cliff. I'm just gonna say, not self-driving for me. No thanks.
Well, don't piss off your car. Do maintenance.
That's why I know for a fact eventually it will stop, because I'll put so much wear and tear and not fix it, she won't move. And
Well,
yes,
the
my car is a
thing, good thing about Tesla, all maintenance is covered, so you just drop it off and get a new one.
Yeah. Don't love your Tesla. Gary, you and I are not we don't mix. Steve, you might want to switch this. Like, don't put me next to this guy.
I'm not on Colfax, Tony. I'm like 4 blocks from it, bro. You gotta live in Denver and understand what we're talking about here. But he's kind of calling me ghetto, I guess. I'm not ghetto, man.
He is.
Well,
He's
the
saying
way you
live in the
describe
ghetto.
that.
like you were describing it like you had firsthand experience.
Yeah, you did that yourself.
Yeah.
Me and Gary do agree upon that. Yeah.
You live in the
Well-
ghetto. That's what we agree on. You live in the ghetto.
And I like your painting.
I
of
don't even have we don't have any autonomous here. It's San Francisco that has all 3.
Not
Did
yet.
Phoenix pull theirs? They probably did after that one accident.
I don't know that Waymo did. Waymo always has, but Waymo has I think they have like dedicated lanes at the airport that go to and from the office too that aren't used by anybody.
Canada
just know
doesn't have
that
any. at
Those
all?
are the ones that the people used to throw cinder blocks off of, though. Like to try and land on the Waymos because they killed the person. So
Now, Ash, do you know of any in Canada?
No.
no, and there's not even and I mean, like, I want to save this a little bit because there's something
Ontario.
big and horrible happened
I'm in
today.
Quebec.
She's right next to Ontario, though.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in Ontario. They have them. That's the only province it's allowed in.
So, well, Kim, let's talk pizza. And
So
baseball.
I have a positive story, which is actually I think it's fun.
Why does Kim hate pizza orders?
No, I love pizza. Pizza's like my weakness in life. So the other day at a Mariners game, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'm sorry, I don't know much about the Mariners, so forgive me. But Jesse Winker, did I say that right? He is an outfielder. Basically, he got hit by a pitch and then started a brawl with the other team. So there was this girl, a fan, I guess, that tweeted she actually ordered a pizza for him for standing up for his team and had it delivered and tweeted like the whole entire thing because she wasn't sure whether the pizza would actually get to him. So she let the driver know what she was trying to accomplish, and the driver actually got it to the baseball player. And the delivery drivers basically said, touchdown, it's delivered. And I guess Twitter went crazy. So what good came out of this was they wanted to start a GoFundMe page for this delivery driver to give him a bigger tip. So it ended up being like 300 people went to a GoFundMe page and ended up giving him like a really big tip for delivering this pizza to this baseball player.
He wouldn't get that if he drove a Tesla, that's for sure.
No,
What
no,
what I
no.
want to know
Now,
is
now
what I
he can
wanna
buy
know
a
is-
Tesla though.
Yeah. So
How much did he get?
What I
think
want to
it
know
was-
though is how
didn't
he
say.
puts in. So obviously they were playing down to California because this is not the Dodgers. They were playing over in Anaheim. But he just put in the stadium address. Like, how do you just walk a pizza in? Usually, like security might take it, or somebody might take and go, "Yeah, he's playing a game right now."
Yeah.
Or like you would just think there'd be like 10 hiccups along the way where this thing would never make it. I don't understand how it made it.
I was thinking, I'm like, as a delivery driver, if you got this order and you're seeing this order, and of course you don't, I mean, you could see the address, but sometimes you don't look at the address until like you're actually en route and you're like, wait, am I going to like a stadium? I don't understand. Like, how does one go about going behind the scenes of a stadium to get this pizza? But like on more of a serious note, like I feel like something good came out of something bad. Like I always feel like something bad has to happen for people to bring out the good, which is like the GoFundMe page. And I feel like that's like what we consistently see. Like if you guys remember, and it reminded me of like that guy that was like crying on was it TikTok because the tips weren't so big a couple months ago, and then they started a GoFundMe page, and then like thousands of dollars later, he's like has thousands in his pocket. So I feel like it's always something bad and then something good comes out of it. I don't know.
I still just don't get it though. How do you just walk into where the Angels and the Mariners are playing and just and like and it says one times pepperoni pizza. So you've got one and they're just like, yeah, come on in.
Contacts in the right place. Contacts in the right place.
But supposedly it actually got to him because the baseball player actually tweeted back to the person who bought the pizza, "My fans are the best. Thank you so much for the pizza." So he really did get the pizza.
Oh, he could have said that knowing that there was a pizza, but never actually got it.
No idea.
I fully agree, Kevin. That was a good one. I hadn't seen hadn't seen one of those since like a good mound rush or something in years. I feel like since COVID, everybody's been a little bit like, all right, we won't all rush the mound here. It's just been a little weird, but yeah, I like this story, but I'm still just so baffled on how he got it there. That's one of those things that'll just bug me till I know.
When you really want a pizza,
What would you do
you'll
as a
get it.
driver? What would you do as a driver if you got that order? Like, would you actually figure that out, or do you like cancel?
Maybe he knows a guy over at like maybe he knows a guy at a security gate. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. You got to know context, because if I showed up to a stadium and you got that many people there, and it's like, oh, you got a delivery for pizza for who? It's like, who are you gonna find in a needle in a haystack? Like.
Yeah. Now, did the driver actually take it to the player, or did they just take it to somebody?
I think somebody.
Because I'm reading this, I'm doing a quick read on this story.
That's
here.
why you look so focused.
Yeah,
it says when a fan had a pizza delivered to Winker in the visitors clubhouse.
But it didn't say he personally accepted it.
No, it had to be hand delivered to somebody
So
else.
it was probably team manager or something like that, and then he tweeted later, "Hey, thanks for it."
But then the guy, like the driver, actually says, he got the pizza, my friends. Mission accomplished."
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you drop it off at front desk of a hotel, you mark it as delivered.
True.
I mean,
Social media will make you believe anything. That's the problem.
That's why I was trying to read here. Is if he actually got to meet, because I would think that if you got to actually, I'm not a sports fan, but if you actually got to meet the players or something like that, there would have been some kind of selfie, some kind of tweet with that picture.
With not the driver,
at that, no, not at that time, man. This was
well,
that's why I was surprised they were still there. This is after a big brawl. They're still like sorting that out. That's when they don't let people in. That's
well, that's what I'm saying. Time. If he actually delivered directly to that player, why wouldn't he be able to take a picture?
Oh, he got a big GoFundMe tip, so I don't think he's complaining.
Now,
yeah, dude. And
how much did he get on GoFundMe? Did you say that?
Too.
I'm trying to read it in the story. I don't see that
It's towards the end.
towards the end. Well, it says 300 people.
It doesn't say how much.
Oh,
He said it was
okay.
life, quote unquote, life changing.
Oh yeah, I can
Well, 300
imagine.
people. I mean,
That's more deliveries than I've done in a lifetime with Uber. Like,
gosh, I'm looking at these two stories that Hannibal's going to do, and then I'm going to do. I don't know which one goes first. They're like,
Like eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
well, I think I'll let Hannibal start it because the decision that happened today is just horrible, and something really bad happened today, and I think it's going to kind of come out of what he's talking about a little bit, maybe.
All right. Some more sad news then. This article I'm talking about is the dehumanization of it's gig work. Is dehumanization is a feature of gig work, not a bug. The story is a business school professor decides to spend 18 months doing gig work. And a lot what he talked about is stuff that we already talked about it countless times, I'm sure, in our get-togethers here or in other channels. But I guess the way he puts it at the very end, I think I'm gonna read this passage real quick. When I decided to end my voluntary immersion in the driver community, I could not shake the feeling that the depersonalization of app workers is a feature, not a bug, as the economic model born and emboldened by transformations that are underway across the global economy. That includes increasingly prevalent work arrangements categorized by weak employer-worker relations, that's independent contracting, strong reliance on technology, algorithm, platform-mediated communication, and social isolation, no coworkers, limited customer interactions. And when you read the article, he's basically it's definitely on the side of, I guess he thinks that gig work is a problem. He's talking about, dealing with bad customers. I think we all have done that. But then also he also brings it into some kind of like identity situation, like who am I? Which is interesting because as a gig worker, I don't know. I mean, I'll ask you guys if you guys feel this way as doing gig work. Do you feel this kind of crisis of who you are as a person when you like, who am I? Am I just a Uber Eats delivery person? Do I just pick up chicken McNuggets? Is that all I am? And I guess this is the way he kind of prefaces in the article, where yes, there's a lot of issues with gig work, but he kind of broke it down in a more deeper, like a philosophical kind of way. And it's kind of interesting when he's saying that, do we feel like robots when we're out there working? Yes, there's a lot of problems with all the gig apps, but when he says like, hey, who am I? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'll ask you, Steve, like, who are you in terms of gig work? Like, do you have those kind of thoughts when you're doing this kind of work?
I don't, because I think I see where you're going, but I don't, because I have other things that I juggle too. So this is more like a patch. And yes, over the past years, because of unexpected pandemic BS and lockdowns and all kinds of things, yes, I've become much more reliant on it than I had been prior. Before it was like I'd be on the road doing production. I'd come home and I'd spend time with my son, and I'd do all my parenting, and then I'd kind of start to get a little bored, maybe because I'd have 3-4 weeks off after working production days and being on the road for 6 weeks, and it just becomes like, well, why would I just sit at home? Let me at least go make some money. And the only way for me to do that between gigs was gig work. I don't find it dehumanizing to me. I think that I think there's a couple factors. I think that at a certain age, if you have nothing else going and you're reliant on this, and if you're really watching what it's doing and how each app launches, pays great. I mean, we all know the model. Launches, pays great, onboards way too many people, starts paying less, starts charging the customers a little more, never pays the driver more again. I mean, if you're used to that system of how all of these apps work, it's kind of, I don't mind playing them. I don't mind working them. And I actually work them to my advantage all the time, whether it's had to be part-time or full-time. But if I was reliant on this, and if at my age, and for the only one that doesn't know that is probably Ash, I just turned 50. Okay. So if I was at my age 50 and I didn't have other things going, and even side projects of the gig economy, things that I do for my website, for the radio show, for content creating, and my laser work, if I didn't have all those other things, I would be starting to focus more on what else I might want to do and try and maybe integrate half and half into my life. I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't want to be fully reliant on the gig economy, even though right now I make most of my base from it, let's say. But I wouldn't want to be fully reliant on it to the point where now we're out of the pandemic and stuff, like, yeah, there's jobs around. If you're not going to take one, will they be forever? I don't want to be in that position where I'm like, okay, now I'm like, I am very much I don't want to count on the gig economy.
Yeah. I think with this article is the writer, the business professor, it seems like anti-gig work. I think he probably prefers us to be in a more traditional employee model, because he references how organizations historically helps or provide more resources for employees, but he's using the word for employees in terms of, I guess, other resources, where he says here, physical, social, psychological space needed to process and cope with the confusing, disturbing, and anxiety-provoking work situations. Now, I know I've seen a lot of videos and I see comments, and sometimes I see what you guys are talking about, but if I had that many situations doing this, I would have stopped a long time ago. So I don't know what neighborhoods this is happening, where markets are happening, where you're having these constant conflicts. But at the same time, again, we have a choice to turn on the app or not. I still believe that there's still a choice in the matter. But when you sit there and you check out this article from, at least he put 18 months, so that's what he says. Props to that. But he's an employee, so
Right.
And probably a really happy employee. He has a job he loves and probably is very passionate about. So when he's doing this gig work, he's probably sitting there like, why are he doing this? Like, I'm not talking to anyone. I have no coworkers. I can't go to the cafeteria and have a cup of coffee talk about whatever the hell they talk about, that kind of thing. Or, like all those situations he doesn't have because he's in the car and he feels lonely. But even for us, there's opportunities to still socialize. We're doing it right now. Like, there's other opportunities to talk to people who are doing the same thing we're doing. But I think he comes across looking at it like, I would not want to do what they're doing long term.
But I think you can feel that way if you allow yourself to go down kind of that rabbit hole of that thinking. Like, I guess if I feel like I prioritize things, like I'm a mom, I'm a wife first, and then gig work kind of falls into the mix of that. So to me, I'm more of the human side opposed to the non-human or the dehumanizing side of gig work, because I don't allow it to even come close or cross into my personal life at all. Like, I will always prioritize my family first, and then work my work around my family, if that makes any sense.
I can see exactly where you're coming from, Kim, and I see exactly where Steve's coming from. I'm the opposite end of the spectrum. Screw when COVID happened. I've been working full-time from home 5 days a week for the last 5 years. You want to talk antisocial and not meeting with anybody? Hi, my name's Ash, and I'm the queen of it.
Some people like it, though.
No, but I've been doing customer service for 11 years, and I'm on the verge that I'm gonna have a mental breakdown. And I suffer from anxiety and I have ADHD. The fact that we're actually on a topic and I can stay on to it, kudos to me, because that doesn't normally happen. So if it wasn't for gig work, like, I'm sorry, I can't, as much as I'm pro it, my partner is like, just stay home and watch TV. I can't do that. And my best part is I get to devote it to YouTube. My favorite thing, if you feel lonely, take a camera with you and go do gig work. Talk to the camera. I literally feel like I'm talking to my friends when I talk in my videos. Like, people like hear me. My catchphrase is my lovelies, or I call people lovely. That's what I would do if I see you on the street and I'm a friend with yours, acquaintance, whatever it may be. So I'm on the other end of the spectrum. Me being strapped to a job behind a desk, I'm at the point I don't care about the benefits. I don't care about the pension. I don't care about the shares and the stocks that I'm invested into. I want the freedom schedule. And if I had it my way, I'd be a full-time creator because I know the potential of my channel. I know how much I love. This is where I do all my editing. I love devoting my time and efforts into this channel. That person should probably just talk to a camera. It might have helped make him feel better.
I think that was, awesome, Ash. I think we all have that problem regardless of what thing we do, right?
Yes.
Like I think we saw it in the chat. Teachers, trust me, I've known a few teachers that do not like their job, but they have to do it, and because either they went through that they went through teaching in terms of the education to get to that point. So it doesn't really matter what job you have. You may have that existential crisis of, who am I? Like, why am I here? Why am I still doing this? And I think 2020 pushed us all in different directions. I'm still grateful for gig work, as much as many people think that we complain about it. When everyone's locked down, especially I'm in New York, everything was locked down. The one thing you could do, go outside without getting in trouble, was delivering
Gig
food.
work.
Like gig work.
Yes.
So I didn't feel isolated because everything was total isolation, but I was still able to go to a restaurant, say hello to a cashier, say hello to a customer. So I don't really feel the same isolation as some people, but it also is different markets. If you're in a slower market where you don't see anybody other than, masked people handing you things and you hand them back, I could have that kind of feeling. But like you said, it depends on so many other jobs where you could feel suffocating, like you suffocate, like I don't want to do this anymore, I'm not comfortable,
It's what happens.
Creative. But yeah, I can see that happening from all types of different positions.
We even had curfew. Montreal, Quebec was the only dumb province that had an 8 p.m. curfew. My mother let me go out at 12 until 12 o'clock in the morning. She didn't care. But no, Quebec, because of what's happened in the world, and I understand circumstances, I will not make a heated debate upon it. I will ignore the conversation about it. But it's like, seriously, Quebec, you had to put a curfew. Imagine what that does, mentality speaking, not just any job that you get set up and you get tired of. You're absolutely right, Hannibal. It's just, it don't matter. You can be my job. You can be, I don't know, probably a daily police officer or whatever. Look at the nurses. They're burnt out. They're tired. They probably feel very lonely and everything. I can go any dynamic.
I know a lot of nurses who are extremely burnt out, and I know some who left during, like, it's already happened, that kind of moment, that teeter point. But I feel like some of those might be coming back, and the ones who tried to stick it out, I feel like they're thinking about leaving too. I feel like I feel like it's like the housing market. The nursing market's about to collapse. I don't know. Well, speaking of collapse, by the way, so this is something I've been following. And I only bring it here when there's something new to say. This happened today. So the U.S. Supreme Court will not hear the California Trucking Association's case against its state controversial worker classification law, AB5. And everybody knows how I feel about that law. But here is a different story. This goes back to the Dynamex decision. The truckers have had a carve out, but it ended, and announced with several other orders on Thursday, today, June 30th. The Supreme Court denied the California Truckers Association petition for a hearing. So the decision to not hear the case means that a previous ruling from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit stands in a preliminary injunction preventing AB5 from being enforced on motor carriers' ends. So, what does this mean? So,
I was gonna say,
prices of gasoline. California has 70,000 owner-operated pickup trucks, or pickups, 18-wheelers. So these are people who own either small fleets, own their own trucks. They now cannot operate without being an employee of a company, and none of them are going that direction. Like, literally. This is just one of the ugliest stories I've read.
That literally takes away rights of individuals too.
Right, and that's why I was kind of bringing it up too, because I knew that you'd feel. I wrote an article actually on what happened up in Canada with the truckers.
Yes.
And so I mean,
But ours
this
was
is
due to restrictions. They wanted all
Yeah.
restrictions lifted. Yeah.
right, but this AB5 law, like they had a Dynamics ruling in California that just like doctors and anesthesiologists and lawyers got carved out of AB5, the trucking community was supposed to be carved out of it. Now the Supreme Court said it won't even hear the case. So it is like as of July 1st, so as of tomorrow, they have to be employees or there's no it's over. They can't drive starting tomorrow.
So I'm wondering what is the, I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of, as it seems like it always with, politics and especially what's going on in California, that there's some sort of backhand deal or backroom deal. Like we do not want them. We want them to be employees. Some, I don't know what the big trunking companies are in California. I'm sure they're huge. I'm sure they have a lot of pull. Someone saying, hey, yeah, don't even bother to even listen because we rather have them under our employ. And I'm wondering, is that something to do with it? Like, did they? I don't know if I missed it. What was the official reason of why they don't want to listen to the case?
Well, okay. Let me just say the real reason. The real reason is right now. First of all, the Supreme Court. We all know, and we haven't even talked about it on here, and I won't. We don't get that kind of political, but that decision made last week really messed things up. The Supreme Court handed down a bunch of other decisions today too. And I think that one of the main things, I mean, this is purely political. I do not think at all this was like done on a fair vote. I think that they would have heard this, but they don't want to right now because California, AB5 is still their baby, their example to the other states of how it can work. When it can't work, it can't work. And we already know even the Prop 22 can't help the gig economy. AB5, it didn't help anybody. Everybody I know that I've talked to, that I speak with on a regular basis in California who had their own business, freelancing, whatever they did, nonprofit opera houses, no matter what it was, is out of business. So not gig economy stuff, but traditional freelance, gig work, self-employment, whatever you want to call it. All of those people lost their job due to this law. And now they don't want to give the trucking industry the carve out because then what about Massachusetts and Pennsylvania and New Jersey and Seattle or Washington State that are all trying to pass these type legislations? Right now they need California to stay whole. And even though it's just this train wreck of a disaster, for some reason it needs to be the example for the rest of the country. That's the part I don't get. Like, I get that you'd want to, like, if it was working, yeah, okay, keep it in place. Let's show everybody how it works, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work out there. It never has. Like, why? I'm with you. Why wouldn't it be heard? My only guess is that because this administration has, and again, I am not saying this is not party affiliation, guys. This is just fact. Because I'll tell you how I feel right now. And this isn't regarding one side or the other, but I feel like we are in the 4th year of a presidency right now, and that they're just trying to do all that 4th year junk of just trying to get any of their laws out there and passed, which is really sad because we're barely into this thing. And it's not one side or the other. It's just the choices being made coming out of this pandemic are just not the choices of the people, from what I can tell anyway. I mean, it just seems like there's decisions and there's things to be like, I mean, this is a solution right here. Wouldn't you want 70,000 trucks on the road? No matter what that meant.
It seems like what you said earlier. They have this baby, they say AB5, and they, instead of saying, whoopsie, hey, maybe this didn't work out, let's double down. Let's double and triple down on this. But I am interested in, but like you said, also with the Supreme Court, there's so much going on that maybe if things weren't as, I guess, hot as they are now, that maybe they had the opportunity to look into this. But this is very important, and they should have at least heard this case.
Yeah, and I mean, like, where are they gonna, like, what are these so now we're gonna hear more about about like I don't know about you guys, but like Long Island Dash Experience, Lou was doing a live the other day, and I made a joke because Mary was at home. She was in the chat, and I said, "Wow, your groceries, your stores are just stocked. Like ours are already starting to have that not stocked look to them again." You know, where they take like one product and move it down the whole aisle and make it look like nothing's missing, but there's like 9 products missing and only one there. And they're starting to kind of do that. And I'm like, well, you guys still have food. Like in the middle of the country, we're seeing what happens with when you can't get a truck here.
Well, it's funny you should say it because that was the first thing I was thinking about. If this happens and it diminishes the truck driving industry even more, we're not going to be able to get supplies out to wherever, like already we're behind the times on getting products to stores and the supply chains out there. It's going to make it even worse than what it currently already is.
Yeah, but I agree with Steve. I'm in Canada and we don't have the same scenario going up here as what you guys do there, but it does feel like the 4th year. Everybody's passing bylaws that are not suitable to the individuals. And like you said, it's not about being one way or the other. It's about the decisions that are being made. Because of course, I hear it in the news. And like we all know about decisions, like we said, that were made last week and such like that. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking even for myself to hear about them because Kim's right. You're not going to get your transport goods going to where they need to go because you're hindering potential employment. And over, what did you say it was, 70,000, Steve?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That's a huge amount of numbers. It's just
domino. That is huge.
Domino effect.
You know, it's very surprising that they would do this anyways, because truck drivers hate California. Just from being a former truck driver, I will never go to California. I don't care how much the load's paying. I'm not going. And so for them to do anything towards truck drivers there, even the port stuff that they did early on during the pandemic, you know, shutting down the ports or taking forever to get the freight off there for the drivers, it's very surprising. And now to do this is, I don't understand their thinking,
because they can't, dude, they don't want to
do. Like, what can he do?
They don't want to eat their own words, dude. They don't want to go, because this, like Gary just said, like during the pandemic at the ports, that alone, if you were an IC, even with the status that you had until today or until for a few more hours, and then now you're going to be subject to whatever the AB5 penalty is of whatever it is. I think it's 12,000 something per incident. So anytime they work any gig, it's going to be 12 grand fee. But the ports didn't have any people. The unions were way down in people because nobody wants to be in these unions that California is trying to shove down your throat. And if you weren't in a union, you couldn't go get from the union ports. So, like, if you were an independent trucker going, man, I'll take whatever load you got wherever you need it to go, and you're probably one of the better truckers. If you go down to the ports, like up until now, you couldn't take loads because they were like, well, you're not union. So,
or if you did go there, then you would have to actually park your truck and have somebody at the port take your truck in, get it loaded, and then bring it back to you. And you would have to pay them a fee to do that. Or you could pay an escort, which basically the same thing. They just escort you to your load, you hook it up, and they escort you out. It's money. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's just we're here, it's like now California is so here's how. So now the California truck drivers are subject to the ABC test. So let's see if they can pass it. So here's the ABC test. A, and we've been through this before, but it's been a minute. So the worker is free from the control and direction of the hiring entity in connection with the performance of work, both under the contract of the performance of the work in fact. So the worker is free to, so that's A, and most people can meet that. This is always the tough one. The worker performs work that is outside the usual course of the hiring entity's business. And that's the one that gets everybody. So if you are a company that, your primary business is hiring truckers, the only thing you can't do right now is hire truckers. Like you have to be a plumbing company is your primary business, and your secondary would have to be trucking.
It's because they don't want anybody to be on independent work. I mean, when you turn around, they're trying to help the economy by putting you into a business, and the truth and the reality is it's that it's soul crushing and taking away the, like, I don't remember who said it in the chat, but like somebody said, they're taking away the livelihood. And that's exactly right, because there we go. Ben Soda said it. So they're taking away the livelihood of individuals because the government, doesn't matter which side, by the way, out here, for example, if you're a content creator, let's say a YouTuber, the government caps or wants to, I don't know if they passed the law here yet, wants to cap how much you make as a creator.
Wow.
And yeah, they want to do that because you know the expression, like we say, oh, everybody wants to be a content creator, and they hate the fact that people, kids, teenagers, whatever you want to call it, there's no classification. They don't want to go to school. They don't want to fulfill a career. They don't want to do anything except for be on social media. So what they're trying to do is step up and say, we're going to block people from doing this, but in no shape, way, or form are you going to stop independent workers, whether it's truckers, gig workers, or creators, from doing what they want to do. There will be a loophole no matter what. I mean,
how would you cap them anyway?
I don't know
Like,
the amounts
I mean,
and the figures.
that would be like what, like allowing a certain amount of money per
year.
Oh,
per
but
year.
like as a flat total, not based on your subscribers, or because what
That's
if
right.
there's some huge channel
They don't
that
want
does
it.
something, really, really big?
I don't know if they want to cap it, let's say 250K, 100K, because let's face it, if you're in the millions, you don't want to be capped. Nobody does. But they want to cap content creators because they find if they do that, it will force Canadians to go out and work.
So that's a question of mine for Canada. So when they, okay, this is the kind of stuff that I always get curious about. So when you say cap, is it once you make that much, they send the money back to the people, or is Canada keeping the rest?
It's always going to be our government. It's always going to be our government.
But that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
So people are still thinking they're funding their favorite content creators.
but it hasn't been passed yet. It's one that they're working on. I don't
If
even
it
remember
was,
which
if
bill.
it was though,
Yeah.
like if
Yeah.
it was passed, it would be like what? Like I still might think I'm funding you. However, you've hit your cap, and let's
But
say
what's
it's
stopping
November,
from
so
somebody getting like essentially under the table, like buy me a coffee links or such like that,
yeah,
or
I know.
Patreon? Okay, block me on YouTube. I'll have affiliate marketing. I'll have buy me a coffee links. Let's do a Patreon, all that stuff. There's so many options. I'll go to Gary and make an app, and you can't stop me then, kind of thing. But yeah, they want to stop content creators going from YouTube and TikTok are the main two sources that they want to cap here in Canada. And I think it's BS. I think it's BS because you can even be a part-time YouTuber and make good money. So,
when you say that though, like I got to go back to the Ottawa standoff, because I was doing a piece on the bridge to Windsor, Ontario.
yeah.
But the focus was always Ottawa.
Yes.
And so what was
the
going
Parliament.
on? Right. I mean, so
Topic pisses Steve off.
well, I'm just thinking out loud, because like, okay, so their fight was to be independent and be able to. I remember there was like,
no,
okay, there was
their
one
fight, the truckers' fight, was to stop restrictions.
right on the mask. Okay, so
yeah, because we were
but
so locked
here
down
was
here.
So here was like one though that happened is like, I remember nobody was going to budge, and I remember this happening and thinking this is really extreme. Was when they started telling the independent truckers that are tied to companies, okay, well, we understand you're going to be here till the end, but if you don't leave today, all of the people who work for your trucking company can't drive tomorrow.
I didn't know that.
I remember that was like a big punch. And
I know parents were bringing in their.
And...
No, what was happening is parents were bringing in their children and keeping them in the trucks overnight so that the police could not take away the trucks because of minors being there. And then when that started, the government started to hear up a little bit. Next thing you know, different mandates started to shift. It was kind of a compromise, but you're probably right about it. But I never heard about that. But that's because I didn't activate.
So one thing I was getting at though, they did shut down the means to get these people money, and I mean PayPal.
Oh yeah,
Cash
They
App.
even stopped the GoFundMe, which was
anything at all. They actually were able to say, no, you can't get money to these.
The government hijacked it.
So I have a question now. What would happen to, like, say, would it stop anybody from having, different channels and multiple channels?
I don't know if it's classified like, is it registered to my SIN number or what it may be. I would say probably multiple channels would be okay, but I haven't checked all the conditions on the bylaw because it's not passed here. And well, I'm a small creator anyways, but wishing she was a millionaire. But yeah, I haven't checked all the details.
See, what's just to stop them from getting a U.S. bank account and putting all the funds there?
There's a thing. There's a loophole for everything.
Yeah.
It's even coming back down to the conversation of what Steve's on this side. Steve's saying about the independent truckers. They're going to find a way through the loophole. It doesn't matter if you pass a bylaw or not. There's a bylaw here, by the way, that's just been passed, which I'm 120,000% against. And it's the fact that Anglophones cannot. First of all, our government turned around and said that he wants to try to regulate what we say in our house. Point blank, period. Don't bother. But the bill passed the fact that if you immigrate to Quebec, you must mandatory have your education in French. You don't get choosing. If you are born and raised here, doesn't matter. You have to go to a hospital. You have to be served in French and French only. I go to a restaurant. It's French and French only. It's Bill 96 that passed here. The thing is that it's being brought up with the Supreme Court because Canada is trying to fight it, and our Quebec government's trying to turn around and say, get out, Canada, leave Quebec alone. Hey, Canada first, Quebec second is the way I look at it. But imagine that. There's a bill to pass just for what language you speak when you walk down the street. They even want it that if you walk down the street in your own designated language, and I'm not talking about French or English, but if it's not French, you'll get a fine if you're caught speaking another language.
What?
It's disgusting. He literally got caught saying that on camera. My premier actually got caught saying that on camera. Stupid.
Wow.
Only in Quebec can it get that dumb.
Now, does the bylaw say only if you speak it? So if you're not talking at all, they can't say shit.
Oh yeah, they can't catch you.
Like.
You get pulled over from a cop. They have to serve you in French, and it's always been a domino effect. But the thing is that Montreal is so multicultural, so friendly. Everybody's invited. Speak your language. But because you got one person ruling Quebec, and Quebec's bigger than the city of Montreal. Yeah, Thomas, you got that right. What? Yeah.
So I have a question concerning whatever is it called independent contractorship up there, or do you have a different term for it?
Well, I call myself, for example, part-time. I'm a gig worker. I don't call myself an independent contractor or whatnot. But the category is either self-employment, independent contractor, or in our category, because we know we do gig worker, whatever. But when I say gig work, it drives everybody around me crazy.
So gig worker is still, at least for now, considered independent contractor down here. That's how you should file your taxes based on that kind of method. Yeah. How does that? I'm curious how that affects you in Canada, because you have
very similar.
You have socialized medicine though and stuff. You have so.
But if you're a full-time gig worker, for example, you'll have basic health insurance. So let's say, for example, I have another child. To be in, so with my job right now, with my benefits, it's a private room. It's just, me, my partner, my baby, everything's private. If I'm a gig worker, I'm not entitled to private room. I'm not paying into benefits. So I'd be in a room with 3 other moms bearing my child and listening to their screaming babies too. So what you can do here is you can buy into private healthcare. So it's depending on different packages. It's not too bad though. It's like 100 or some odd per month that you'd be paying into it. And then you can have private health benefits, but it's not at all covered by the Canadian government. And the same thing, for example, you hear about people wanting to go for a loan. Well, to go for a loan, you need like proof of where you're working and such. Gig workers are not classified as any specific employment because we don't have a set income that we make. We got to go out and make that income and hustle for it. Same thing for a content creator. I could say I make $2,000 a month off YouTube, hypothetically. Again, I wish. But bringing that up to a company that are a bank and I'm trying to get a loan, they're like, so? It's classified as royalty here. So being a YouTuber is royalty here. Being a gig worker is an independent contractor, and you don't have a stable income, you won't get jack you know what here. They want you to work for the big guys. They want you to work for the company.
I mean, you get more than when you say you won't get jack you know what. We get less than jack you know what if you don't have insurance here.
Yeah, so that way it's
like
completely
you can at least
different
go
there.
into a 4-person room. If that 4-person room here doesn't exist for the people that don't have insurance.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. Go into an emergency to seek help. You need emergency services. I don't know. You got drunk, fell down, and smashed your head open. How long does it take for you to see a doctor?
Hour, maybe 2, depending on the ER.
Well, it depends on. I mean, you said you smacked your head open. I've worked in bars for years. Usually, head trauma stuff will go through pretty quick. But
okay, you have to be in dire need, and I mean bleeding to death on the hospital emergency floor, and you'll be waiting 6 hours, 12 hours for something. I don't know. You got 3rd-degree burns, which is what I've seen an individual in the emergency room. Oh, how do you like sitting for 24 flipping hours? That's your minimum.
Well, like Denver General is kind of, it's not that long, but I mean, like if you have to go into Denver General emergency room, even with an insurance card on a weekend, you're looking at 3 to 4 hours, most likely.
I'll take it.
Wait, you can't check in from your phone?
No,
I check in from my phone.
There's no check-in. There's no check-in. You show up, you get a number, you see a nurse, they assess you, go sit down. 5 hours later, reevaluation. 5 hours later, reevaluation. They call you every 5 hours. So if you want to go home, you can go home. Your paid parking is gone, and then you got to pay for parking again. Oh, yeah, sure. Free healthcare here in Canada. But unless you're dying, I mean, my dad has the worst medical history. He's a heart patient, has had 2 heart attacks. He's just been diagnosed with coronary heart disease. He's a diabetic. He's on dialysis every second day of his life. And he was rushed to hospital just, 3 weeks ago. As a heart patient with all my dad's medical stack history, you should be in an emergency room and seeing a doctor within like maybe 2-3 hours. No, he has to call me the next day to go pick him up. And it's the next day. It's horrible here.
So what she's saying is, that scene from Beetlejuice when he switched to numbers, that's what you have to do in Canada to get ahead.
Yeah, I can pay a doctor. I can grab him and pay him, and he'll be like,
well, I mean, like,
"Sorry,
so
you're not
is there like just this ugly gray building that says ghetto hospital for everybody that doesn't want to up pay, and then like right across the street there's one that gets you in 5 minutes? I mean, is that what we're talking about here?
If you go for like so the worst is getting a doctor for something like, I'm sick, I need time off work. You need a doctor's appointment to get paid medical leave here. And medical leave is 70% of your salary. So, and then the doctor can approve short term, which is less than 6 months, or long term. So to get a doctor like that, I mean, they say wake up and be on the app at 6:45. Like Gary's saying, can't you go with the app? You go on the app at 6:45, they're immediately taken. Like you can't even get an appointment. So you have to pay for a private doctor. So you got to pay at least minimum $300 out of pocket to see a private doctor. Oh, but guess what? They're already booked because Quebecers, for example, since I could speak about Quebec, have already paid for every single one. So you're good until 4 days. How does 4 days from now sound for your concern?
Well, I feel like here, like the emergency room is based off of like what your condition is. Like,
it is.
At least in my area, like
it's color coded.
Heart attack, like anything dealing with heart, they get you in like almost immediately because they want to do an EKG and they want to, obviously they don't want you to die.
You guys have to pay for that, right?
Right away. And then
but that's an insurance thing too. That's an insurance thing too. The more severe things that they got to do to you, such as EKG and stuff, they charge the insurance companies more.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Now what about like urgent cares? Do you guys have those there?
Yeah, that's emergency. Yes, that's
Okay,
my
that's
24-hour
that's
service.
the $300 service.
No, that's my
No,
24-hour
okay, so
sit on your.
No,
Wait.
I'm talking about like here.
like here we have an emergency room attached to the hospital. That's
Right.
the big emergency rooms. But then we have like urgent cares that are separate.
which I can pay
No.
like $75 and get in there.
No, it's all
today.
wrapped up. It's all wrapped up into one. If you want to go to a clinic, so we have public clinics and private clinic. Public clinic, don't even bother because those are free, but they're always $645. You're done. And then private clinics, it's $300. But the problem is people are now paying just to get, a doctor. So it's a 2-3 day wait time. My mom just got a family doctor, which are free, provided by the government, after being on a wait list for 8 years. So now she has a doctor. Mic drop. Everybody drop your mics.
That
well,
seems
I
like a really
remember-
little amount of money to change that scenario for her, though, right?
For my mom?
Yeah, I mean, if it's
Yeah,
only
but
like
she's
$100
being
more
on
a month,
pension because my dad's health. My dad's first heart attack, he was 47, and second one with open heart surgery, he was 55. There was no going back to work after that for him. So he went on an early pension and everything else. So private, my parents have a special type of medical benefits, all the drugs, because my dad's on everything you can name because of his, health and such. And my mom too. Most of that's covered under Medicare and everything else. But for them to go into an additional private healthcare, you can't do that on pension nowadays. It's the same common denominator. As hard as it is, so I know a lot more actually about pension in the US because I've studied different things like investment. And you guys have to put even more money in than what we do as Canadians when it comes to pension, because the pension plans are better here, but it's the same thing. Did you know that the average pensioner in Canada makes under 30 grand a year? It's sad.
I remember, and I don't know if it's still like this, but 20 years ago, I had a friend that came down from Canada because his parents were doctors, but they were getting paid so little compared to the U.S. that
That's
they
right.
just decided to relocate to the U.S.
That's right. Or you have to go for a private clinic here, but it's a lot of money for doctors to go private here in Canada. It's a lot of studying. And by that time, most of them, by the time they want to go private, they're in their 40s and feel like, well, it's too much to pay for now. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get a little confused by even what it is then, because it reminds me of government programs here that that we kind of like just are like, seriously, this is how good this can operate. It just seems like the full government programs that require 100% free, seems like you can go across the board and just and they don't work.
I think it comes back down to that like job scenario Hannibal was talking about. There's always going to be like a reason for anybody to complain about anything, whether it's free Medicare, paid gig work, customer service, whatever it's going to be. There's just difficulties. The only difference is that, let's say, I don't know how many Canadians you've had on your show here, Steve, but it's like when you get to hear it up front, you're like, and you didn't know, you're like, wow, it's similar but different in all different type of locations.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Especially because we use kilometers and you guys use miles.
Right.
Miles.
Well, see, that's one thing that amazes me is people's always comparing us to Canada. They're like, but Canada has free healthcare. I'm like,
No.
but it sucks.
No.
And everybody's like, no, it doesn't. I'm like,
The only thing we
everybody
have,
that I know from Canada says it does.
Roy's Critter Corner did top up on it, but I won't touch base on that topic because that's going to be another political standpoint. But yes, it's there. There's very little violence here. Very, very little violence. And, I do feel sad for different scenarios that happen. But I don't want to get into political debate because some pro, some against. I don't want to. But he's pointing out, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. He'll want to make this a political debate. So he's kind of waiting for you to grab on.
Canada is pension equivalent to Social Security. Honestly, you get your Social Security and you get a government pension, and your government pension is probably like $7,000 a year. That's just a top up. Yeah. And I know it because of my customers. Of course, let's talk about the fact of internet being expensive. Internet here, like I'm hardwired on internet 100. Yes, I said 100. And it costs like over $100 a month. So my customers, they want a low income offer. And for them to qualify, sadly, I have to get down to the nitty gritty with them. And it's heartbreaking when they talk about how much they earn. I've had a customer who's on pension that makes $13,000 a year. I'm like, you broke my heart. I would give everything free if I could. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Roy brings up crime, but the United States isn't even in the top 13 for most violent countries.
Oh no, you're so right about that. Yeah.
Even though we have guns,
that's South America down there. That's El Salvador, Honduras.
Yes.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
But there are differences between like Canada and US. But I hate when people get all negative about it. Like they're like, oh, Canada is so great. We have this. Have you lived here? Like, okay, we got some things that are great. I love being Canadian born and raised. I won't change it. But it's like, don't diss on the US.
Nothing is perfect. Right?
No,
it's
but
good and
people
bad
hate.
everywhere.
Well,
I'm not going to sit here and tell
the
you.
other side thing. It's the
I'm
green
not
on the other side.
I'm not going to sit here and tell my whole medical history, but I would be curious to know what
you're gonna go through.
No,
like
what
do
an
you still
upgraded
have those files?
what an upgraded form of or what the insurance plan I have, which is an individual plan that I pay for.
Yeah.
What that would look like in payment in Canada, because I know you said, well, for 100 or maybe a little more, you could pay it. So I'm wondering what it actually would cost, because I won't even say, but my insurance is very expensive a month.
Yeah, the difference is in the US, it's all very expensive because they want you to pay for everything up front, versus in Canada, they want to praise their benefits. But if you're not working for a dedicated company, which is just honestly going to make you work to the grind to begin with, then you're not going to get medical coverage. I'm super fortunate. I have one of the best benefits you could ever get. And my son is under my name for my benefits. So it's super fortunate, but it's like, coming back to what Hannibal was saying, it's like, I'm just so fed up. I could just turn around. It's like, screw it.
So, quick question: if I'm a gig worker in Canada and I don't have anything, and I walk into a hospital, will I be turned away and told to go away? Okay.
No, you'll get healthcare, you'll get services, but what will happen is, let's say they give you medication, you have to pay out of your butt to pay for it because you don't have insurance. There's no insurance to cover it. Your hospital stay will be in what we call a semi-private room. So probably you could be in a room with 10 people, up to 10 people. When you're a newborn mom, for example, it's 4. They respect that at least. But you would never be turned away.
And
I wonder as an American, do they bill us triple?
Oh, dude,
yeah. And
to go to a Canadian one, you mean?
Yeah. Like if we say you use up there skiing or something, you broke a leg and had to go to their doctor. They're like, oh yeah, get him in. He's American. He's got insurance. He's got Blue Cross Blue Shield. Get him in here.
That's when you just get back across the border real quick.
Grandpa, yes, they can.
Is your car insurance close to what we have over here in the United States? Is it comparable?
I don't even know. So that's a good question. What do you guys have as an insurance plans? I know I got to up mine, especially because mine is classified as you work from home full time. I have the smallest package. So the problem is even if I do part-time gig work, if I get into a car accident while doing gig work, I am not covered. So there's different plans.
Well, that's how it is here typically as well.
You don't say that you were on.
Yeah. I mean, most people just don't say, "Hey, I was doing food delivery."
I was just driving.
Right. It's more rideshare that you can't get away with.
Yeah, I mean, rideshare if you have passengers,
you're like, get out, quick, run.
But you can sign up for Buckle and able to have rideshare, food delivery, and personal car insurance. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you have the link in your description, Steve, but
no, he didn't get that referral.
Oh, you didn't get that one.
I did get the referral. I don't think I have the link in there though.
Yeah,
he said you weren't going to do it since everybody else did it.
I've talked to Marty, the CEO over at Buckle. I've had him on the podcast and we've talked. I got no problem with it. I never really did my full deep dive, and as far as I remember, there are not very many states right now either.
Yeah, like four.
I'm
four
guessing
or six,
Buckle is
yeah.
the name of the insurance company.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's actually Buckle Up.
Oh,
Buckle
how
Up.
cute.
Yeah,
How
buckleup.com.
cute.
It's only in like 6 states, I think.
They make
Yeah,
me
it's
want to
in-
switch my blue to pink to make it all cute and compact.
I mean, they
with their name.
got some. They have one cool feature. I know that they're like one of the states they're in is Georgia, and I really like one of the features that they're testing a lot, which is if you have buckle insurance, that because they cover even those weird gap times, like as the customers getting out of rideshare and you hit ride finished. If something happens in that second as they exit the car, it becomes a question of whose insurance is this on? Like this is an issue before. And right now, like in Georgia, they're doing a thing with Lyft where if you have the full coverage from Buckle, Lyft pays you 5 cents more per mile. So I think that's the kind of stuff that needs to happen for, I think that's like something like that will grab people's ears.
You guys
Not a
have
lot of
home
a lot of these type
insurance
perps.
with car insurance together?
What's that?
Say that again. Home insurance and car insurance?
You
Yeah,
can.
together with one company.
Yes.
Yeah, I have it
I
all
do.
in one company.
They'll all be independent, but you can do it all through a company.
Yeah, like for me, like it's there's La Capitale and such here. I'm with the provincial one, but it's like you can have the 2-to-1, so it's always more convincing. And yes, Roy, that probably is true, but we also have a lot less that you can use around here to even cause friction. I'll say it that way.
Roy's from the land of sin anyway. He lives in Vegas. So.
Yeah, but you can't commit much sin here if the government doesn't allow it in. It's just you can't get it in to make the sin. But
Right.
he is right. We are you guys are over 300 million, and I think for Canada, I might be mistaken, but I think it's like 37 million.
Wow, all right.
36 million.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go. Close enough. How did you do that fast?
I'm the research guy.
Internet.
He's super smart.
Like I can't even say population.
Not Canadian internet.
Not Fair enough. I don't even have fiber here. I have copper lines. I'm on a copper bonded line here on Internet 100, but because I know all that stuff, I know how to make it work, so it works.
Yeah, but I honestly can understand why they don't. I mean, you guys, it gets so cold. So many runs would have to be so long to get to everybody.
Well, I mean, in Alberta, they have fiber, and Alberta has the worst amount of snow and cold compared to Montreal. But Montreal, we get horrible winters and we get very hot summers. It's like, first of all, again, sorry, don't hate me, but let's say, for example, over 100 is hot for you guys, and I don't know the exact conversion, but for us, we can get as high as 42 degrees, which is definitely well over 100. So it's like we roast here or we freeze to death here, and just so used to it.
It's really funny you say that because Roy loves Celsius.
37 Celsius is 100 degrees.
Yeah. So yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, Roy used to start off every podcast saying it's 88 degrees here in Vegas, but and I won't tell you Celsius because this is in Canada. That's how I'd start every one.
I get people in my comments saying, why don't you use miles instead of kilometers? I'm like, I try to convert it, but I'm in Canada, people. Get over it.
So that said, where is the gas thing at right now too?
So we're $2.13 a liter, so still over $8 a gallon.
I mean,
come on, wow. Gary, come on. I know you're typing it. You're looking it up. But Quebec is not the highest one when it comes to gas. Some places are like $2.37 a liter, which you're probably talking more about $8.50 a gallon. So it definitely adds up because the conversion of it. So to get 1 gallon, it's 3.69 liters. No, 3.79 liters. So it's very close to 4. So I round it off, but we're essentially at $8 now because we're $2.13 a liter. So we're just over the 8 now.
You wouldn't have that problem if you had a Tesla.
I know, Driven Dad said it. But I don't, because I do this part-time, I don't find it too shabby. But it also comes down to like markets and everything else. This morning I went to the city of Montreal, which normally was fantastic, but I'm telling you, the construction is so bad and disgusting that I went there and it's something like $5 for 2 kilometers. And yet where I am for 1 kilometer, which is essentially 3/4 of a mile, I get often $7, $8, $9, $10, $11, $12. So for me, the gas, it's not really too much of a burden. It's even if I was to do it full time, am I worried that I'd still have quite a bit of chunk of my money going out? Sure. Because of my full-time job, I make a lot of good money. But it's like the freedom. I talk about the freedom. You all four know about freedom. Me, I'm strapped to a desk. I'll pay for gas. I'll pay for gas. Not a Tesla, but still gas.
You know, I'm not going to bash on it at all because we all believe in it hardcore, but freedom doesn't seem like what freedom used to seem like, does it?
Well, I would actually just love to put so much more TLC into this channel because I love my channel. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially with the anxiety. Yeah, just let me work.
I don't think people actually understand what freedom actually is. I think they have what they think it is, but that's not exactly what it is.
I mean, I'm not going to be on a beach in a bikini holding a martini all my life, but I mean, that would be ideal. Yes. Personally, for me, an indoor heated pool is better than the beach because then I won't be burned so bad. But I mean, I get it. Yeah, it's not exactly freedom, but when you're strapped down to a schedule, I get a 15-minute break, a 30-minute lunch, and a 15-minute break. What's my 30-minute break? Oh, I have to go get my son to daycare and bring him home because I'm the only driver in the household. And if I'm late for 2-3 minutes, I get this. Do you get that as a gig worker if you have to go pick up your kid? No. Turn off the app. Go get him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I was wondering how they dealt with all the taxes and stuff and how that all got sorted out with the free medical. But you've got this, and I've heard other tales too that free medical in Canada is not what you think it is.
I agree.
You painted a really grim picture in my head, at least tonight.
Good.
I am picturing just this awful, like, you wouldn't go there if you were dying.
Well, I've always heard that from people that actually are in Canada, is that the healthcare, even though it's free, it's terrible.
I like what Driven Dad is saying. She was talking about getting a house monitor to make sure you don't speak any language besides French. That is a freedom. No, that was our premier being a smart ass. That's what that was. That was not going to happen.
See, I always give movie references. And, you know, it's the one with what is it? He gets frozen and they bring him back and he starts cussing and is giving the stuff out the wall. What movie is that?
I have no idea.
Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah,
Frozen.
Frozen.
Definitely wasn't Frozen.
Let it go.
Yeah, it was not.
What the hell? Yeah, I hope it's not Frozen.
No,
Really
it's
frozen.
he's frozen. He's frozen and he gets thawed out. He's a cop. He got
Frosty.
in trouble.
Jack Frost?
No, it's a hold on. Give me
Was it a spy movie? Was it a cop or a
Encino
spy?
Man.
Sylvester Stallone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, The Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That movie. Well, whenever he comes back into the future, he's thawed out and whatnot. He comes back in future and he starts cussing and is giving him these fines right off the machine, off the wall.
Oh yeah, the one with Sandra Bullock.
Demolition.
Yeah, it's the one with
Yeah,
Sandra
yeah.
Bullock.
Demolition
Yeah.
Man?
There we
Yeah.
go. Demolition.
Oh, I
Man.
didn't. I
See?
read the chat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dash.
There we go.
No
John
credit.
put
Kind
it
of
in
show
there.
like a really sad way of how the future is going to be, where we are like really.
But that's how Canada's gonna be with different languages. They're gonna be like English, ding ding.
Dashing Grandpa says, Je t'aime is the only French I know. Well, that's a very sweet 3 words to know. It's I love you is Je t'aime. So
I guess they're not big into tourism because if I ever go to visit your area,
You'll be arrested and thrown
be
into a low class hospital.
that law is gonna go out the window. I'm sorry. But also we have elections here in November for a new premier, so fingers crossed, and then we can throw things out the window along with people.
Yeah. Do you think things are going to change a lot?
Mm-mm. I think we're going to get the same premier again, and he's going to win minority instead of majority, and that's what I hope. Because, again, it comes down to city and province. My city is the best city to live in. So Kim, go to Montreal. Don't go to Quebec City and say, oh, it's a beautiful city. Go look at no. Go to Montreal. Because I think no matter what bylaw gets passed here in Montreal, the people here would overrule any bylaw to begin with.
Right. Like Kim would probably tell you, don't go to Newark, go to.
It's funny because someone said, oh, I've been to New Jersey. And I said, let me guess, you flew into Newark Airport? And I said, that was your first impression of New Jersey. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I am cruising Dasher. Absolutely. I'm reading this chat. I don't like to type in the chat, so I say it out loud. But I don't have a filter, so it's all good. Go Habs, go.
Yeah, you guys used to have the.
What is a hab?
I don't know. It's the Montreal Canadian for Les Habitats. It's oh my gosh, I'm blanking out here. Stadium, Les Habitats.
You guys used to have the Quebec Nordiques too, and you gave them to us here in Denver, and you gave this A+ team that like won a cup like the first year they were here. And then I'm from Michigan. I'm a Detroit Red Wings fan. I loved watching Detroit come in and beat them down every time.
Habs have not even won. Habs have not won the cup since 1993. I was a baby when the Habs won a cup, so they got a lot of work to do. But I'm still always going to support my local team.
They won it this year.
Not the Habs.
Oh no, the Avs. Which is your old team that you gave. I don't understand why the Nordiques ever left to begin with. So
I'm a Quebecer that doesn't follow hockey unless the Habs are in the playoffs. Does that count?
Not really. I thought all Canadians were hockey fans, like through and through.
No. My partner, my brother, but me.
Okay.
No.
Did you know the H stands for hockey?
Say habitat.
It does. It says the H stands for hockey.
It doesn't make sense.
So what is coming? So by the way, we have Ash's link is in the show notes already. So you can check out her page that way. And what do you have coming up, Ash, before we wrap it up and get out of here tonight? What's on your channel that because you've got other things on there too. What kind of what might bring people there? What's
my most popular video is my Uber Eats tutorial video. So I do some tutorials because I have the little setup here that I find it's easy to do. Beyond that, I have just like mostly ride along vlog style videos. It goes for Instacart, Skip the Dishes, which is Canadian based, just like your Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats. Coming up before here, I was 3 minutes before I came on here, just finished rendering my next video. So thank God for that. But yeah, it's just mostly vlogs. I still keep trying to do 2 a week. And if I got a tutorial in place, I will. But the thing about my channel is I just document as I go along. I don't have a scripted video. I know some people plan a video. Like I don't find I have the mentality sometimes to do a quick, here's an update that just came from the app. I'm not fast enough. So most of the time I would just do vlogs and tutorial videos. There's nothing big and dramatic about it, but I'm more unique I put like 4 cameras into my videos now, and I like to have my phone and screen capture. So I actually ask myself, and okay, this is not me being a jerk to myself, but I actually ask how on earth do I even have 1,100 subscribers? Because I couldn't watch myself.
But you got them.
Well, I wonder, I mean, do you ever see in your, and I'm not sure if you even can see in analytics. Do you see if like a lot of them are coming from here? Like you can see that, I know.
You mean like search, browse, and everything? Yeah, because
how much is coming from how much traffic's coming from the United States as opposed to Canada?
So it is shifting.
Region-based.
It is. I can't say region based, but it is shifting. I used to have about 85% was American. Now it's quickly shifting that I'm about 50% Canadian.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's definitely shifting up a lot more. As what I used to do is put like a little Canadian flag on my videos and the thumbnails, but I just do that when I think about it. But I'm using more terminology like Montreal as keyword research. So it's shifting now more that, and it's awesome. There's more Montrealers that are tagging along. I guess when you're coming along to my videos, I've always said it, you get different type of creators. Some that are Nugs, for example. He has the personality and the editing wrapped up into one. I don't have editing skills like that, but, and I'm loud, but not always. But for me, it's like small personality and some regular editing that I've learned along the way, and it just puts together. And I guess people dig it. dig it.
Yeah.
See, do you like? I always like watching other countries' channels versus USA because, like, I do gig work in USA. I don't really care what it's like here, so I can see why she would have more Americans than Canadians.
Well, I have some from my old channel, like Hannibal was talking about. I had some sweethearts that followed me from point A to point B, but now, like Kevin, Elisa, like there are quite a few people in this chat here tonight that are regulars on mine. So I guess people just like watching different gig workers and different personalities and such. I enjoy being sarcastic. I have becoming more out of my shell in my videos. I'm starting to swear more, which is how I am on a regular basis. I am very sarcastic. I love to make jokes. Sometimes it gets me into trouble. And, that's what I do a little bit more in my videos. So as I keep going and going, I find my personalities coming out more. So people are digging that. And I'm grateful.
Do you do live streams?
I do. And I have one planned in the works. So there you go, Steve.
Nice.
I have one planned in the works. I'm waiting for Canada Day, which is tomorrow. And your Independence Day on July the 4th to be done. Because since I have a majority of pretty much both in the audience, I would love to have both into the mix, join the live stream and come chat. And I do have somebody that I want to have come onto the live stream, somebody in the mix that is one of my good friends. You might all know him, Zach Drives Fast.
I was going to say, is it Zach?
Yeah, it's Zach. Zach and I talk daily. He's been a supporter to me since day one, and we're friends and we talk all the time and such.
Yep.
So I'll probably have him on the live stream, but I do have one in the mix after July 4th.
Yeah, Zach was the one who told me about your channel.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. I mean, because of him doing a shadow on his channel, I gained like 45 subscribers one day. We do like Kevin, for example. Kevin's on mine, on here. So it's pretty. Chad told me just like last week. I did not know that. Did you know that there's only about 300 gig tubers on YouTube?
That
really
sounds, I think
I thought it was more.
I would think it's more too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they all get the same script to use though.
So I think
there's a script.
Yeah, it just gets emailed around like, "Hey, this is what we're talking about today."
I find it cool that the active ones, that are currently here. Like, of course, I've seen every single one of these channels before that I'm seeing on the screen that I'm with right now, all of your channels. So it's just pretty cool how the connection keeps going with you. YouTube is a really good community.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't get TikTok.
No.
People
are mean.
Steve's a big TikTok guy.
Huge TikToker.
But I love it. I love it when somebody's mean.
Who's a huge TikToker and he's in our chat right now is Yost Malone. He's got it going on TikTok.
I feel bad because aren't they going to cancel it or ban it or something? Or
he's got 183,000 people following him or something.
183,000, really?
Yeah, on my Instagram, I started doing like skit videos for fun and such like that, and I've tried to bring it onto the channel. I would love to do more skit videos. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Don't hate. It's just not. I don't like how people treated me on TikTok. I've tried it before. YouTube, it's like. YouTube, it's not the same thing, but
it's a different platform and it's a different approach to it. But I know Steve is having fun.
I feel like
hopefully the U.S. government doesn't take it away from him,
or they don't put
I also used it as my OBS because I don't do OBS, but it's like I can move images, shrink them, put them up here, over there, over here, over here.
Steve
I can
got
do
seizures.
things. I'm not gonna go learn OBS like Joe used to say to me. Like,
OBS is cool, but
learn OBS. I'm like, I'm not gonna learn OBS right now. You know how busy I am.
Yeah, there's too much in OBS.
I just don't know if I'd use it enough anyway. So I just I'll use any platform
I use StreamYard.
social to support this, but yeah, I try and have some fun over on TikTok. I
Yeah.
definitely treat it differently than I treat any of my other social platforms at all.
I'm an Instagram girl.
Yeah.
I just post a lot of food on Instagram. That's it. Just a lot
Okay,
of
so
food.
Gary, you and I are gonna get along more, but is it your
Yeah.
delivery foods or your food?
No, my food. My
Okay, we're
food.
gonna get
Yeah.
along good. Don't worry.
Yeah. I think
Aw,
Kim just subbed
you
to
guys-
me on
you guys
Instagram.
I
made up.
did.
Followed me, yeah.
I didn't even realize you're on Instagram, and you came up as like one of the people suggesting. I'm like, Gary's on Instagram.
Yeah, it's just food, all food. That's all it is. Like mainly food. Like
Yeah, well, if you look back at my Instagram, you're gonna see a lot of keto, low carb stuff. So
that's what
yeah.
I do.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All right, all
Like
right.
yesterday I did and Steve tried to call me on. He was like, "Is that keto?"
Yes.
You know, and I was like, "Yeah,
Steve.
I did keto chili dogs."
Yeah,
I'm just
when
making sure because what he showed in the picture looked better than keto.
when my son
It looked very real. Looked like the
when
good
my son was
stuff.
8 months old, I'm like, okay, I need to lose more weight, and I lost 62 pounds throughout keto. So that's most of my following on Instagram is keto and low carb people.
Yeah, mine too. Like,
Yeah.
or that's who I follow, anyways.
Yeah.
You know, I fall off of keto a lot because it is very expensive depending on what you eat,
I also love carbs.
and I love ice cream.
Yeah.
and,
See-
and like low carb ice cream is like $7-8. Sonic, I can get that for $2.
See, Gary, at the beginning, right even before we started live, you were going at me about the whole app. Now you're relating to me about keto. Isn't this cute?
Yeah. See, you should follow me on Instagram.
No, you go follow me. We'll talk after.
Well, I think that's it for tonight, you guys. I had a good conversation. I actually
lot of fun.
wanted to know a little bit of the differences about Canada a little more. I always am interested when I talk to Canadians because
Now you're
they all have
terrified.
different takes. Well, no, I have a couple friends up in Vancouver who, they tell me about taxes and how all of it works, but you gave me a different perspective on the hospitals for sure. Because I've heard
I have
that
15% tax, by the way. My province is the highest.
Yeah, I mean,
Just don't
it's
go to
a
Quebec.
whole nother world up there because even the way, and we won't dive down this hole, but even the way Parliament runs as opposed to our
Yeah.
system, just the whole thing is really kind of not that our system's anything good, but
It was a lot of fun. Today was a lot of fun.
yeah. Hey, thank you for coming on, Ash, and thank
for
you
putting
everybody
up
for
with me.
joining us. Yeah, of course. And John McCallion has a live going, I think, right now. He wanted me to tell people. I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
still
I'm
going.
subscribed to him. Yes.
Yeah, I'll jump
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So, I would say hop over there and say hi to John. Give him a little support, and we will see you back here next week. Actually, next week we have Zach Drives Fast.
Oh, there you
So,
go. Oh, he
so Ash
adores
was just
you,
talking
so-
about him, and now we have
He
Zach
loves
here
you,
next week,
Steve. He
so,
loves you. So.
yeah, we have a good time. So, all right, guys. Ash, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next Thursday, if not before.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace.